Moving right along to the third game of the October 1993 LSAT, we encounter a game with three boys, again, Carl, Luis, and Miguel, and three girls, Rita, Sarah, and Tura. These children are giving a dance recital. The dances are dances 1, 2, and 3, and each dance involves three pairs of children, a boy and a girl, partnering with each other according to the following conditions. So at this point, it's a little bit strange. I don't know how to set my base up. Should it be the boy? Should it be the girl? Should I have pairs of children in these dances? So before we decide on that, let's turn our attention to the conditions, because the conditions might be helpful in figuring out what makes sense to use as my base and which one makes more sense to use as the variable that I'm plugging into that base. So the first rule tells us Carl partners Sarah in either dance 1 or dance 2. So Carl is going to be partnering Sarah in 1 or in 2. So contrapositive would be if you aren't partnering Sarah in 1 and you are not partnering Sarah in 2, which actually means you are partnering Sarah in 3, then you are not dancing with Carl, which means it's going to be either L or M. The second condition tells us that whoever partners Rita in dance 2 must partner Sarah in dance 3. So whoever partners Rita in dance 2 must partner Sarah in dance 3. So the contrapositive would be if Sarah is not in dance 3, or you're partnered with Sarah in dance 1 or dance 2, then you are not partnering with Rita in dance 2, which means Rita in dance 1 or in dance 3. And now we get a better understanding that it makes sense to set the game up as follows. I'm going to have my dances 1, dance 2, and dance 3. So now we get a better understanding of how to best set up this game. You notice now I'm going to have these dances 1, dance 2, and dance 3. But instead of making these pairs, what I'm going to do is have one column be my boys. And the reason I'm choosing the boys is because notice that conditions 1 and 2 are telling me things about placing the girls. So that is why I'm going to use my boys as my second base, and now I'm just trying to pair them with the three girls that they're going to dance with in this dance recital for each of these three dances. And then just turning our attention here to the third and final condition, no two children can partner each other in more than one dance. So we have no repeats. So basically each of these three children is going to dance with each other in one of these three dances. We're never going to have the same pair of children appear more than once in any dance. All right, so before we proceed here, or before we stop and move to the questions, I would turn my attention here to condition number 1 because it's pretty restrictive. Carl is going to dance with Sarah in either dance 1 or dance 2. So let's draw out those possibilities. So in the first scenario, I'm going to put Carl with Sarah in dance 1. And in the second scenario, I'm going to put Carl with Sarah in dance 2. Notice in the first scenario, I can't have Rita in 2 for Carl because that would push Sarah into 3. And we already know Sarah is in 1. And notice the contrapositive of the second condition tells me if Sarah is in 1 or 2, then Rita is in 1 or 3. Well, 1 is already taken, so I know that Rita must be in 3 in this scenario, placing Tura in 2 with Carl. But notice now, looking at L and M, one of them is going to dance with Sarah in dance 2. The other is going to dance with Sarah in dance 3. So let's draw out those possibilities. Again, I'll place Sarah in 2 and then Sarah in 3. But again, nothing is stopping them from reversing those. Now, turning our attention to the first scenario, again, looking at the contrapositive of the second rule, if Sarah is in 2, Rita must be in 1 or 3. Well, since Rita is already dancing with Carl in dance 3, we know that Rita must be dancing with Miguel in dance 1, which would place Tura in dance 3. Now we know Tura hasn't danced in dance 1 yet, and we know that Rita hasn't danced in dance 2. So that would be one possible scenario. Again, turning our attention to the second possible scenario in this setup where we have Carl and Sarah dancing in dance 1, we would notice that, again, if Sarah is in dance 2, well, that's going to place Rita in dance 1 or dance 3 for Luis. But again, it can't be in dance 3 because Carl is already dancing with Rita in dance 3. So Luis will dance with Rita in dance 1, Tura in dance 3, and then Miguel would dance with Tura in 1 and Rita in 2. But again, those aren't the only two possibilities. We have the other scenario where Carl is dancing with Sarah in dance 2. Now, we really can't place much because Sarah in 2 tells me Rita is dancing with Carl in 1 or 3. So again, two possibilities there, but I'd rather just start off with the possibilities of placing Sarah because we know one is going to be Sarah with Miguel in dance 1, and the other will be the reverse of that. So let's draw out those possibilities. So again, we know in the scenario where we have Sarah in dance 1, that's going to force Rita in 1 or 3. Well, if Sarah's in 1, obviously Rita can't be in 1, so Rita's going to be in 3 there, putting Tura in 2. Same idea with the second scenario, except that's going to be Luis now. And then you notice, well, obviously we can't have Tura in dance 2 for Luis, so Tura would have to be in dance 1. Again, putting Rita in dance 2, and now it's much easier to fill this up because we know that Rita can only appear first for Carl, Tura is going to be third, and you notice that the scenario to the right there, the second possibility is going to result in the exact same option, where Miguel dances with Tura in 1, Rita in 2, and then that forces Rita to dance with Carl in 1 and Tura in 3, and you notice you are able to come up with every single possibility for this game. And that would be the setup. Again, the key is determining the base. And the reason I decided to use the boys as my second base as opposed to the girls were conditions 1 and 2. We're dealing with placing the girls, which made it much easier for others to fall into place.